Good morning, everybody, and this is your S&P 500 day trade setups for today. So, pretty solid lesson to be learned here. For as long as the trend is up on the higher time frames, you are trading with the trend, and anything against that trend is seen as a scalp. And I keep saying it, say it so often, and you need to be able to trade both ways on the lower time frames, but on the higher time frames, you need to know where your levels are and what's going on. So this is basically just noise based. It's the Fed's coming out saying that interest rate hikes may ease off from as early as this month. Now, I've been through a cycle of this with the Feds a couple of years ago, where the market wasn't really moving, it was stagnant, and there was a lot of focus on gold and silver, and the Feds were just manipulating the market with what they were saying. So at the moment, it's clear we've broken through structure. You can see here the last 2 weeks we've broken through. We've got a high for November up here, and just want to get to the weekly because this is where it starts getting very interesting, because ultimately we need to get above that swing high on the weekly for this to be validated properly. But in saying that, we also could be breaking above this trend line here, and this is going to get a weekly level in. So it's this swing high here. I just want to tag that next one as well. So you can see I'm picking up these tails over here, and that breaks this trend line. So let's just keep that in there. Now we're not out the woods yet on the S&P. The Dow Jones looks completely different, and the DAX also looks completely different. But for the S&P, we are sort of coming up to a very strong area of resistance here. So what do we want to do today? Obviously, we want to go with the trend. This is my first area that I'd be interested in. That is 40.46 or 40.50 area. I'm looking for a pullback onto that for an opportunity to buy. Please note that you have a weekly, well, not a weekly yet, but you have a monthly close above the 4,000. So that 4,000 level is starting to drift away, but we could still come back and test it. So just keep that in the back of your mind as well. But this was a strong, solid move up. There is a little bit of a gap here, and we'll look at that on the lower time frame. So this is ideally the first place, 40.46. Pull back onto this. I'm looking for an opportunity. However, you could find something completely different here. So there is a gap here, not quite closed yet. So get the flag in. There's the top of the flag. So what you'd be looking for is a bounce off 40.78, and then you're looking at 4,100. There is a level at 4,111, so that would be my first level. It's a weekly level as well, so I don't see us just shooting through that unless we have some more crazy news today. But that's your first target. Then I'd expect a pullback onto structure, another opportunity to buy. Second attempt at that. If you get through it on the second attempt, then I'd wait for the pullback onto that structure, looking for the next level, which is 41.40. So looking at the 15 minutes, this is looking like a flag, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see this continuing to the upside. So anyway, that is kind of the news here. We did have a crossover yesterday of the moving averages, which is why we were looking for the shorts. But we also had the structure in place as well. So, if you just look at the 15 minutes here, you've got to ignore this, because when this was going on, you've got a pin bar here, you're in amongst them below the moving averages. You'd be forgiven for thinking, well, we're still moving down, looking for another level to the downside. But nevertheless, that's why we have stop losses in. And if you didn't have a stop loss in here, look at how underwater you would be, and you're going against the bigger trend. So you'd be 1,000 points underwater, but you are going against the bigger trend, with the 8-hour trend being up. So for me today, looking for the pullback, lower time frames, obviously. All the time frames are now sort of aligned for a move to the upside. Looking for a pullback on structure, and I'm looking to target these 41.11 and 41.40 areas for today. Get through those, then you have the trend line up here at probably 41.200 area, and that is going to be a big area of resistance. But this is bullish, and the market is going to feed off this for a couple of days. I promise you that much. So those are your levels to the upside. Just wait for pullbacks, buy off the pullbacks, wait for structure, buy off structure, and you're looking for longs. Hope that helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.